Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We're into some weird times here. We had Thursday night football that became Wednesday afternoon football. We had Thursday night football that became Tuesday afternoon football or Tuesday evening football. And the Dallas Cowboys, we only get them every 4 years, only get them here every 8 years. Always a memorable matchup, but this is going to be hit and run and short work getting up on the Cleveland Browns. Dennis Koulatsos will be here on Thursday picking up the aftermath of all things Tuesday night football. Bah, 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 bah. And, I remember when the Sunday Sports Voice, Dan, you came to me many years ago and said, do a show. We'll do it on Sundays before the games. Dan, there's no games on Sundays anymore, man. I mean, maybe you were onto something with those Thursday afternoons, huh?
Maybe, perhaps, as I saw the NFL going to becoming a 7-day-a-week league, right? So every day there's a game. They're all over the board. Players are testing positive for COVID. They're sitting out. It's just a lot of moving parts. But you know what? It's very fitting for 2020. It's been a wacky year, and the Ravens organization, they're just a microcosm of the league and one of the best organizations of the league. What they just went through with the COVID outbreak was something that none of us saw. You maybe expect that from the Cleveland Browns or the Cincinnati Bengals, but you certainly didn't expect this type of thing to rear its ugly head within the Ravens.
How do you rationalize it leading up to this Dallas game, and do you like their response? I don't. As a fan, they've moved me 4 times. They put a subpar product out on the field last week against their division rival. They owe me more than a press release hidden on a Saturday for me. And I know there might be legal issues here. I mean, family members have apparently contracted it. Everything's hush-hush. Nobody's saying anything. And if it's a legal matter, that's cool. If it's a football matter that you don't want Luke Jones and Jeff Zrebiec and Jamison Hensley on the backfield to figure out whether Lamar is playing Tuesday, I'll get that. But then there's just the general, the science of this and the way that they built a fence around it, that for Dick Cass to basically say they knew the different kinds of strains in the building probably tells me they know exactly how the cat got into the barn, right?
Yeah, I never knew that there were different strains of the virus, right? So that was news to me. That was part of my being educated further about COVID-19. But I thought what was interesting, Nestor, is that the players were apprehensive about moving forward, and they had contacted the NFL Players Association, and the NFLPA said, yep, you can sit it out, you can forfeit the game, but you're not going to get paid. And that's when the worm turned. The players said, you know what, I don't feel so bad. I can mitigate the risk.
Pittsburgh, nothing else to do on a Wednesday but
right.
Be Pittsburgh, right?
So you know what, when they're going to miss a game check, 1/17 of their income, their attitude changed. So as we always say around here, Nestor, just follow the money. And it's easy to see where things are coming from and where they're going.
Well, and in the aftermath of watching this, kind of football, this past weekend, I sat around and I red zoned. And you and I have had red zone conversations. But, I appreciate when I get a Sunday where I can just watch all the games. None of the games were all that much worth watching. You know what I mean? I don't know what the hell happened to the Seahawks. And I know, some of the teams the Ravens are competing with have all played well and they've won. But it doesn't feel like they're great teams, and there certainly weren't great games for me on Sunday. This is the better part of the year, right? We're going into the part of the year where, the games are supposed to get better. They haven't been. I don't know what version of the Ravens we're going to see on Tuesday night. I know the Cowboys, not very good. Jaguars, not very good, although they're 1-10, almost won a game on Sunday. I thought the Giants weren't any good, and look what happened to them, right? So all of a sudden we look at this and say, well, if the Ravens are going to make the playoffs, they're going to have to win a lot of football games right now, and they're going to have to do that at a time where they haven't been winning. And part of the chippiness here, and you're a leader of people, Dennis, as well, is John Harbaugh's in a pretty bad mood right now, losing. They haven't won a football game in a month, and all hell's broken loose in his building, and the virus has gotten a hold of his building, against all protections, much like you at Coons Ford. You're doing everything you can do, but if you had to shut your dealership down for 5 days, somehow, some way, there'd be a lot of explaining a lot of people would have to do, right? I mean, and I don't know that I felt that way from where they are, that anybody's felt like they needed to explain anything other than, hey, the game's Tuesday night. We'll see you there. Lamar might play.
Well, this morning, one of the first things that I did here at the store was I put out Dick Cass's 3-part statement to our staff, to the entire dealership team, just to underscore how an organization that's well regarded, such as the Ravens, can ignore certain things and not step up and be leaders, and that can also happen here. So I've used them as an example of what bad things can happen, as much as I've used them in the past of how an organization is supposed to be well run, whether it's selling cars or running a hospital or a football team. So the principles are the same. But circling back to Sunday's games, Nestor, it's a week-to-week league. I tuned in at halftime, right before halftime of the Browns and Titans game, and I was shocked. It was 31-7 with about 5 minutes left, and my mind was blown. We had seen the Titans take care of business against us, and Cleveland, boy, oh boy, they're hot. And you mentioned the Giants; they're 5-7. They're leading their division, and that Giants game right now is starting to look bigger. But the Ravens have to take care of business. They have to address the game with the Cowboys. Looks like Lamar is going to be a go. Win that game, and then on to Cleveland.
Dennis Koulatsos will be here on Thursday in the aftermath of all that. He's selling cars over Coots Ford Security Boulevard and, of course, sponsoring our WNST tech service, which has been a little bit more ding, ding, ding. Guys are coming back, and we're getting players back. Assessing what they need to do the rest of the way, Dan, and I talked to Luke about this, they haven't played a good football game in a long, long time. I mean, and we talk about the end of the Indianapolis game, and okay, fine, month and a half ago. They're not even assembled as they were assembled then. They've been run out of their own building for a week and a half. Now they're trying to get players back. This is, if they make the playoffs and they win out or win 4 or 5, and they're that team that can do that the rest of the way, there'll be something about this being a turning point, a real uphill challenge for what I feel like they have ahead. It looked like, wow, they're just going to win these games in December. I don't think they're very good right now, right? Like, I don't. And until they show me they're good, I'm going to think they're a 6-5 football team that's lost 3 in a row, because that's what they are.
Right now, Nestor, I think their ceiling is 11-5 and floor is 9-7. Right? If they drop the game to the Browns and the game to the Giants, they finish out 9-7. It's going to be a very, very bad year with a team that had at least at a minimum playoff expectations and visions of a Super Bowl. So they have to do a lot of things right. Perhaps they've found a center of the future. They've found a nice defensive back, but they've got to put all these pieces together. The game against Indianapolis, they had a great second half. They had 11-point lead. With the Titans, blew that. So they do have a lot of work to do. But now, if they get healthy at the right time, if you get Brandon Williams back, if you get Calais Campbell back, and that defensive front solidifies, they figure out the offensive line. This team is good enough and coached well enough that we've seen in the past that they can certainly make a run to the playoffs. But right now, they're staring down maybe a 7-loss season if they don't right the ship right away.
Marvin Lewis, I would say Marvin has to be my favorite ex-coach, although I have many. Mike Nolan coming in this week. Marvin would always say, we're coaches. We get smarter. It's like you run on a dealership. You're like, the more I do it, hopefully the better I get at it. Like me doing radio, right? And here comes Mike Nolan in. It really is amazing how many places he's been and coached, and places he's won, places he's lost. But, horses and courses, right? Like, I don't care what coach you are, you're coming in with a bad football. Look at Jimmy Schwartz in Philadelphia right now, right? Like, I have all these old buddies coaching football teams and running around week after week. I see him on the sideline. Mike Pettin's feeling pretty good, right? And Greg Williams wasn't feeling pretty good the other day, but not that he's a former coach of ours, but it is amazing that these names of the coaches stick around. Here comes Mike Nolan back, but you're only as good as the 11 guys you're going to put out there.
There's no doubt about that. And speaking of coaches, look at the New England Patriots, 6-6, just wiped out the LA Chargers, almost at San Diego there, 45-0. Picked on their special teams, and coaches like Bill Belichick and Mike Nolan, what they do is they take away what you do well and they attack your weaknesses, and that's what makes them great coaches. And to your point, they don't get dumber over time; they get smarter. So again, Dallas has enough offense. Andy Dalton hasn't looked good this year, but I have nightmares when I think about some of the Bengals games and Ravens from past years with Dalton at quarterback and Marvin as head coach. So they certainly have enough firepower on both sides of the ball to present a number of problems for the Baltimore Ravens. And let's face it, Lamar Jackson hasn't practiced. He may have to get his sea legs from under him. And what is he going to look like? RG3 is going to be out, so Lamar will be backed up by Trace McSorley and Tyler Huntley. So, again, all these moving pieces, and we'll see how they all come together come Tuesday night.
Hard to win football games when you're not practicing and you're not having the continuity that they need to have. Dennis Koulatsos has continuity out of Coots Ford Security Boulevard. How much continuity? How long you been out there?
15 years now, Nestor. We got to change the advertising. I've been here forever, right? To have a great staff. They've all been with me for a very long time, and we do get a lot of repeat and referral business. It's a great advertising through WNST that drives traffic to our stores. So we're very grateful, not just this time of the year, but every day of the year.
Yeah, I had some cookies the other night, and I thought, man, like Christmas cookies, and I'm thinking, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the Christmas cookies. I'm grateful for the ice cream. I know cookies and ice cream go well. They actually put the cookies in the ice cream, the wake and bake here, the chunks of fudge brownies. You can order the Taharka ice cream. Listen to my wife, $15.70 off getting your 8-pack. I know, Den, you've been busy working on ice cream here during the holiday. Portion control. Now, you always tell me to tell you about that now.
I know. Look, I bought two orders of the 8-packs. I gave one away, and
you can't eat it all. I won't let you eat 16 pints. I won't let you do that.
Amazing. It's amazing homemade ice cream. It's local, and it's easy to get behind a great product. That's the easiest thing to sell.
What's your favorite flavor? What do you got?
Man, oh man, it's got to be the honey graham. That
okay,
is just,
all right.
That is just amazing. But
there's nothing wrong with that.
I had the sweet potato. I mean, I've had them all.
You got the sweet potato?
They're amazing. Yes, I got the sweet potato. I got them all. I got the key lime. I got the key lime. I mean, it's just the apple crisp. I mean, you just can't go wrong with the Harker Brothers ice cream. It is amazing.
All right, look, as a Ravens historian that you are, Dennis, I'm going to put you on the spot. You have to tell me your favorite former Ravens coach. Because I mentioned Mike Nolan and Marvin. I got to put you on the spot. Cam Cameron?
No, it wasn't. You know what? It had to be Marvin, because look at the defense he put together, and look, he had great players, a lot of number 1 draft picks on him, but Marvin, I thought, got the best out of the players. He was smart, he was technically sound, and he also did miracles when he went to the Bengals. He turned a lot of he made chicken salad, without the proper ingredients.
Correct.
If I can be politically correct.
We're going to see the other kind of chicken later in the month.
Oh, absolutely. So I think I miss Marvin as much as you do.
All right. Well, I'll let Marvin know that when he's back. We'll have some fun.
Now, how about you? Let's reverse the question.
Well, Coach Billick and Marvin have to be, at the top of my Mount Rushmore. I mean, there've been Mike Pettin was so unbelievably cool to me the years he was here. He would open the facility at night and bring my staff out and teach them football. Yeah, Rex too. But Mike was really into it. It was something that Marvin did with me that Mike continued as a tradition. The whole Phil Savage, DeCosta when they were young back in the day, and all the scouts. My wife and I, here's a good old story for you. Ron Marcinak was an old school West Texas scout. His favorite guy was Wes Pate. He was involved in Wes Pate's drafting. And when I got married, 2003, he bought me a crock pot for my wedding and gave it to me as a gift. And he said to me, and this shows he's gone now. We've lost Ron. Ron was in his 70s then. Ron lived a good, awesome football life. The scout with the pencil behind the – Google him, Ron Marcinak, great guy. And he said, I'm getting you this crock pot because I know your wife works. You just put the vegetables in there and you'll have a meal. That way she doesn't have to cook for you. So after 17 years, finally over the weekend, the crock pot broke.
Wow.
So Ron Marcinak's name came up in my living room last night when my wife said, I tried to Gorilla Glue the lid down. It's not working. I'm like, she's like, how long have we had that crock pot? And I'm like, you know what? Ron Marcinak gave us that crock pot, honey. I remember that at our wedding. So you don't forget a story like that. So a shout out to the scouts as well as the coaches. So there you go. You get a bonus story there.
They do a great job. I was tied in with Joe Douglas for a long time, and I miss Joe. Really
Joe D, that's my dude.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, good guy. But again, it's a tribute to Ron that you had the crock pot for 17 years, and sounds like you got some really good use out of it.
Ron Marcinak loved Joe Douglas. I promise you that.
That's a really good story, and I appreciate you sharing that with me.
D. Koulatsos Show. The way to find him on Thursday live from 3 until 5, and then on Sunday morning with a rebroadcast getting you ready for Red Zone football. Browns next Monday, Dallas on Tuesday. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, Tassel, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports.